Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays Grounded, where we are learning more about nature by playing, well, this game. So, as you can see here on the right hand side, we are on the public test server for a holiday treat, the new update that is coming, update 1.1. And without any further ado though, let's jump in to our game. Now, we are back where we were previously, except that now we do have a termite axe, which we can use to get rid of splinters that are in this nest. And I think going down here, this is hopefully going to be the cavern of the termite king. But before we jump into that, notice that with the public test server, we do now have another inventory row, which is awesome. But not only that, we also have at the bottom here different hot pouches that we can use. And we can cycle through them with our mouse wheel. This is awesome. So different loadouts we can quickly switch to as we go along. Marvelous. But without any further ado, let's head into this new cavern that we can see here. Of course, some raw science.
A scientific breakthrough.
I have also prepared a little bit. I now have salt arrows that I have equipped with my crow crossbow. So that is going to allow us to do some salt damage from range as well to these little guys. So that was a crit hit. But nonetheless, that was an awesome little bit of damage there. So let's start this episode of An Ecologist whacking termites. Now, of course, termites make these amazing burrows under, well, in this case, in wood, but there are also many species that will make underground nests. So not all termites are actually wood boring. This is a particular species that does do that. Oh, there
Termite King, Lord of
is the
Night
termite king.
Treebane, Raiser of Kingdoms, Infester of Wood and Bark.
Okay. Now, we are going to have to attack him in a moment. We're just waiting for some of his little minions over here. Some of the workers and soldiers to make their way over to us so that we can get rid of them first. Oh, here comes the termite king. This is going to be interesting. Just going to drink a particular smoothie that will also increase my maximum health. Okay. Now, while he is stuck there... Oh, wow. Okay, so now, with the public test server, when you peep something, like we're doing the termite king here, even though I have already peeped him, and previously we had to go into data, like go into data here, and look for the termite king, and then click on him, and then see this. Now, we can just peep, and to the left there, it says what the weaknesses, the resistances, and what it is that we're looking at. You know, it's a small thing, but it is an amazing change. Okay, so weakness to stabbing and salty, resistance to fresh and slashing, and that's it for him. Okay, now the way the things work though is that in the termite colony, you'll have obviously your workers and your soldiers and your queen who will be laying eggs. And the job of the male here, of the king, is of course to fertilize the female so that she can lay all those eggs. And eventually what happens, of course, is that this colony wants its genes to spread. And you'll have male and female ones setting out as new kings or queens. Those are known as allets. Those are the winged termites. Let's see how much damage does... Salty arrow does quite a bit of damage there. Okay. No point in us whacking him from range. Let's actually whack him. Seems to be a little bit stuck in this cavern. Oh, I don't want you to be stuck. I want you to have a fair fight. Come on. There we go. I think now it's working a little bit. Oh, shame. Now, these kings and queens will then start a new colony. So they do their nuptial flight, as it's called. And I've just summoned spiderlings, of course. This Salt Morningstar really does surprising amount of damage against him. Oh, sorry. I almost feel sorry getting rid of the termite king here. But there he was. Anyway, as I was saying, I was getting distracted by how awesome he looks. Really quite an awesome looking one. So these allets will usually leave the nest during when it's wet. So when it's been raining And they then go and find a new colony. One queen and one king can live up to 25 years or something like that. Some ridiculous amount. And here is the woodpile burgle chip for the quest, find the Into the Wood burgle chip. So that is now done. The way a termite colony would work is that you have your king and queen, and the queen obviously lays the eggs, and there can be actually more than one queen per nest. In some species you can have 3 or 4 or 5 queens in one nest. Right, now I am very, very excited to see what else is new in this update. I'm going to make my way back to our home, and then we'll go from there. So first of all, there is something I want to test, and a weevil just walked into our little trap here. There were actually quite a few here last night when I came in, before the public test server, or before I switched over to the public test server. So unfortunately, our pen over here is relatively empty. But there is something I want to test. It's a quality of life. Look at this little guy, and plump into the holding pen here. Oh, marvelous. Okay, so this is how it works. It definitely works. But there is a quality of life upgrade in the public test server that I want to test. Organisms like the weevil and the aphid and the grub that normally drop raw meat when they die, if you now kill them with a spicy weapon, it should drop weevil roast. It gives you cooked food. So this is now a way to get food on the go. No longer do you need to make a campfire, a spit, a roasting spit. You can, if you've got the spicy Goltana, run around with that. If you don't have the spicy Goltana, shoot him with a spicy arrow. And that should then actually go cook them. Or kill them with any weapon that has got a spicy augmentation. So a mosquito needle with a spicy mosquito needle, or whatever you've got. Poke them with that, and you now have cooked food. And this is a game changer for me. But these are not even my favorite changes. To see my favorite change, or to find my favorite change, we need to go to the Oak Lab first. Now, as we make our way back to the Oak Lab, of course, we have our old friend, the little wolf spider here. So let's just say hello by stabbing him repeatedly with the Goltana. Never really giving him a chance to attack us. And off we go. Now, something I also really love about this public test server update, right? So, and it's coming, hopefully everything goes well, and it will be in the version 1.1. So here in this area, there are stink bugs. Now, I had to constantly go into my inventory and go and equip my gas mask or equip my broodmother helmet here. The mask of the mother demon. I had to go into my inventory to do that, or I had to put it in the hotbar at the bottom and give up 2 valuable slots. Now, however, I can scroll down my mouse wheel, click 1, and my gas mask is equipped. And when I am no longer in this area, or no longer being chased by these stink bugs, I can just click 2, and I automatically switch over while running. It's a small change, but it has a massive impact, at least for me. All of these small little things have such a big impact on how I play the game. Now, of course, we are here at the Oak Lab to hand in the wood pile or the termite nest auxiliary chip. And now that we have done that, of course, here in the science shop, we will now have access to some more things. Oh, this is awesome. It now gets sorted according to what chip it is from. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. So with the woodpile chip, new things that we have unlocked. We've got the wizard's hat, we've got candy staves, we've got the woodpile cookbook, and we've got more creatures for the science set. Now this is purely cosmetic. Wizard's hat, I am considering. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take candy staves as well. And I'm going to take the woodpile cookbook as well. Okay, so that's done now. Now, this door, we can now actually open up with the assistant manager key card. Oh my word, look at this little drawing. Vroom, little aphid. A whole bunch of maths. Zipper go up. Oh, this is awesome. 67 millimeters per second. So close to being nice. a whole bunch of maths. This looks like trigonometry all over again. Yeah, there we go, sin. There we go. That is trigonometry. Haven't done trigonometry in ages, so we'll first grab this. But the main reason we're coming in here, the zipline descender, oh my word. This update is making me so happy. I cannot describe it. So now let's head home and go test this, eh? So now that we are here at the picnic table base again, there is something else that I find amazing. And to do that, let us be attacked by this bee here. And notice, we can now block with our weapons. I'm not sure whether this uses more of the durability of the weapon now. But nonetheless, this is now, oh, hello, a viable strategy with how to cope with flying enemies. You can now shoot them from range, and this now counts for mosquitoes and bees. Shoot them from range. When they come in, you block them, and you miss them again with your shot, but you try to shoot them nonetheless. And no longer do you have to constantly switch between a shield and a melee weapon, and then range, and then melee, and then range. Oh, it's the small things in life that just makes it so worthwhile. And now, it is time for me to continue with construction of this building over here. The building over here is progressing. I'm not quite yet going to show you what is inside, but there it is. It is coming along. And you'll have to tune in on Tuesday to see what it looks like. I'm going to continue building it over the weekend. But I think for now, it is time to head up to the upper yard again, as there is something I do want to do up there. Now, before we do go up there, just something interesting about these little guys. So, I've been trying to figure out what these bees are. And I finally may have figured out what they are. And I'm pretty sure that they are the American Bumblebee, Bombus pennsylvanicus. Now, with the new public test branch, killing bees and mosquitoes has just become easier. So if you find a sleeping bee like this, and you shoot him in the eye, he's going to obviously come for you, you block him, and now second shot kills him. So it is now very, very easy, if you've got bows or crossbows, to actually go and kill them. Now, these bees, unfortunately, I do feel very sad about killing them, as I kill another one. And the main reason why I do feel bad killing these bees in particular is because the American bumblebee has actually had a 90% decline in their population over the past 2 decades. So since the year 2000, they've dropped by 90%, which is shocking. And the main reason for this is agricultural developments, mechanization of agriculture, but also the use of pesticides and all those types of things, and habitat loss as well. So bumblebees are actually the main pollinators from North America that occurred naturally in North America. Honeybees did not naturally occur in North America. Apis mellifera, the honeybee, actually comes from Asia and Africa and Europe, not from America. But they had obviously been introduced for beekeeping. But the bumblebees here, they were actually the indigenous pollinators. And as a result, they are extremely important for a lot of indigenous North American plants. Now, honeybees are awesome, but these guys are also quite amazing and quite weird as well. With the American bumblebee, it's actually one of the largest bumblebee colonies with up to 200 or so individuals. Most bumblebee colonies are only about 50 or 70 or so. But the American bumblebee can be quite a large colony. It starts out in autumn with the new queens hatching, and males then, mating with them to fertilize them. Those queens that have just been fertilized then tend to stay and hibernate during winter. So she then has all these fertilized eggs, or she has all the sperm in her, and she's able to then fertilize eggs as she produces them. If an egg is fertilized, it will develop into a female bee, which will be in this case a worker bee or potential new queen bee if fed royal jelly, as in the case of bees. And I think that is also the case with the bumblebees, if I'm not mistaken. If, however, a female does not fertilize an egg, and she can choose to fertilize or not fertilize an egg, just trying to find out where this other last bumblebee is in this area. But if she decides not to fertilize an egg, it becomes a male. And this is where the Hymenoptera, the bee family, are extremely weird. The sex of the bee, of the offspring, is not determined by chromosomes, as in the case with humans. It's determined by whether it's a fertilized egg or not. And it is called haplodiploidy. Haploid, if you think of biology, if you've had biology, you may remember haploid means that an individual has one copy of a chromosome, so of each chromosome. Whereas diploidy is if you have two copies of a chromosome. Now, in the Hymenoptera, if an individual has one copy of a chromosome, it will be a male. If it has two copies of a chromosome, it will be a female. So with the bumblebees, or with all bees in essence, a female can produce fertilized eggs, which will then develop into females. And those, in the case of the bumblebee, the fertilized eggs are produced by the female using the sperm that she had gotten from a male at the start in autumn, before she hibernated. She can also produce males, which will be from unfertilized eggs. And so this is where it gets very weird. Now, a female can undergo meiosis. If you remember, meiosis results in egg cells being formed, the egg cells having half the chromosomes of the mother. And in essence then, those egg cells will be haploid. And as a result, if individual were to develop just from those unfertilized egg cells, it will also be haploid. And that's where the males come in. The males develop from these haploid egg cells, and they are therefore haploid. They have only one copy of a chromosome. These males can then produce sperm, which normally we as humans produce sperm through the process of meiosis. In this case, the honeybee or the bumblebee males will undergo mitosis to create the sperm cells, because they already only have one copy of a chromosome, so they can't undergo further meiosis, and so they will undergo mitosis to produce more haploid or single copy of a chromosome sperm cells. So if the queen then decides to fertilize an egg, she gets the haploid sperm cell, mixes that or fuses that with the haploid egg cell, producing a diploid individual, which is now a new female. And so, as I said, it's quite complex and weird, but in essence they decide, am I going to produce more males or more females? Alright, now we have made it up to the upper yard here, close to the bicycle, which is going to be our ticket up to the porch. So we're just going to be running along the tire over here. So with the bumblebees, while we're running up here, now with the bumblebees, it's actually quite amazing. As I said, the female will leave or hibernate during winter. The new queen will hibernate during winter. Then as spring rolls around, she will start her colony. She flies off, and for the initial bit, she is the only one really doing the work. Then she starts a new colony, and she will use or produce only fertilized eggs, which will then develop into female workers, of course. As the colony then grows, she will eventually be able to afford producing males for the colony as well. Because without producing males, the colony will not be able to exist. However, the male drones do not really contribute much to the colony, so they'd only be produced to let the colony spread. Let's move more to this side, and we do have the dust mites here as well. Really loving the fact that now, with the public test branch version, let's just see what the... Yeah, this can work. as I was saying, I'm really loving the fact that we can now just peep and it will automatically tell us what these organisms, whatever you are looking at, oh, come on, why can't we jump up, are resistant and weak to. So it seems they are actually resistant to spicy, so I'm just going to stab them with my mosquito needle. Really annoying little guys, these. However, I can out-heal their damage. Loving the mosquito needle for that. Now, dust mites, like these that we actually are looking at here, are not insects. They are, of course, arachnids, because they've got 8 legs instead of just 6. So we're just going to kill this one. You may be able to notice that already there. They have got 8 legs instead of an insect's 6. They're not spiders, however. They don't have any venom glands. And I think mites are closer to ticks, if I'm not mistaken, than they are to spiders. But they are all arachnids. And there's our gold card for the dust mite. Oh, that's brilliant. We still have... So we already have our dust mite gold card with 15 killed. But we still haven't gotten our lawn mite with 290 killed. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so just clearing up this area. And now, let's get to work collecting lint. But as I was saying with those little bumblebees, so they produce these males at the end of the season, at the end of the year, in order to mate with new females, or new potential queens, who will then obviously be fertilized by these males that the queen produces. And it does get quite complex, but in order for the colony to work, the queen unfortunately meets an unfortunate end towards the end of the season, towards the end of summer. Because the rest of the females will actually kill her as autumn comes around. And that's because the queen produces, I think it's a hormone if I'm not mistaken, that suppresses the egg production, or actually the ovary development, within females, within the colony. So as long as the queen is alive, the rest of the females will not be producing babies, or eggs for that matter. And so as the autumn rolls around, all the worker females in the colony basically start killing or stinging the queen to death. It's basically a coup for the colony. And then, when the queen is dead, the females, their ovary production will then no longer be suppressed, and as a result, they will be able to produce eggs. And then the cycle kind of starts again. With those queens, those new queens, initially just producing males from unfertilized eggs, those males then mating with a female, producing a new queen, and everything kind of happening again. It gets all kinds of confusing, especially, what was it that I read yesterday? The bumblebees are weird in that a male cannot have a father, but will always have a grandfather. Nor will a male ever have kids, or sons, but they will have grandsons. And it's so weird to think about, because a male cannot have a father, nor can it have sons, because females produce males with infertile eggs, so they're never fertilized by a male. But a male will mate with a queen, producing eggs that will yield females or daughters, and those daughters, in other words, the male's daughters, will produce infertile eggs, and as a result, males. In other words, the daughter of a male will produce sons, which will be grandsons, but that male will never actually produce sons itself. And it really is just very, very weird. And it seems that Bombus pennsylvanicus, the species, the American bumblebee that we have here, follows that rhythm of the colony as well, similar to the other bumblebees. And I just realized now that
Taking a look.
yesterday there were no Christmas lights up on the house there, but now, I believe it was last night, there was an update that was uploaded, and that included the Christmas lights. So like we had the Halloween pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern with the Halloween time, now of course with the festive season rolling around, we have got some Christmas lights up there as well. But before we do anything else,
Moderately terrifying!
look at that little one go. We can now go up and down zip lines, everybody. An absolute game changer. Overall, this update just brings so many awesome things to the table. I mean, we can go up and down zip lines. We can cook aphids and weevils by whacking them with a coltana and getting food that way. We can build from our inventory or from our storage. We don't have to get things from our inventory in order to build anymore. So many awesome things being brought in by this update, and I absolutely love it. And well, I hope you enjoyed the episode here. It was a bit confusing with the bumblebees, of course. Next time we are going to be carrying on with the upper yard, so join me next time as we go further into the upper yard. Until then, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon.